Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of our FTT Chat series, where we take the opportunity to sit down with innovation leaders from across the financial services and fintech sector and beyond. Today we'll be talking about the automotive industry as well as fintech. So I'm delighted to be joined by Georg Bauer. Georg is the CEO and co-founder, I believe, of Autonomy.
Yes.
Hello,
correct.
Georg. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
So I'm really keen to hear more. Let's start off with you telling us a little bit more about you, Autonomy, and then we can dig a little bit deeper into the innovative stuff that you're working on.
Sure, I would love to, Lisa. Personally, I've been on a mission for over 40 years to help reshape how people access mobility. It's been a true passion of mine. As you might be able to tell from my accent, my journey in the automotive industry started in Germany at Mercedes-Benz just a few years ago in 1978. Well, just a few years, right? During the 80s, we introduced the leasing concept to US consumers and later internationally, redefining how people get a car. I spent 25 years at Mercedes and made the switch to BMW, where I led the BMW Group Global Financial Services, helping expand the business globally. In 2013, I was really beginning to see how electrification was the future and joined Tesla to lead the international launch of Model S and build Tesla's financial services business throughout Europe and Asia. A very exciting, thrilling experience. While at that point, most decide to turn in the towel, relax, and hit the golf course, but not me. I joined my dear friend Scott Painter, a brilliant visionary serial entrepreneur in the auto retail space for decades, to help transform the way people get behind the wheel of their next vehicle with Fair, our first startup, which pioneered the used vehicle subscription service, and now with Autonomy, the nation's largest EV subscription service. As you probably can tell, the automotive industry excites me. I have been incredibly fortunate to spend my entire adult life helping shape and innovate it. This industry has given me so much, and I'm so excited to be taking all the things I've learned from such beloved brands to usher in a new era with Autonomy. Autonomy is revolutionizing the way people access mobility through two major trends. Number one, it is electric vehicles, and number two, it is subscriptions. There is no doubt that the auto industry's future is electric, and subscriptions are what leasing was 40 years ago, a revolutionary, pioneering way of accessing mobility. Let me share with you a little bit more about what's ahead for the industry, what's got me so excited when I founded Autonomy with my partner, Scott Painter, who is the CEO of Autonomy. I am the president of the company, just to correct it from the entry statement. Autonomy is an all-electric vehicle subscription platform offering consumers a cheap, fast, and convenient way to access a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y. During the first half of next year, we will add EVs from other manufacturers. Autonomy centers all around affordability, flexibility, and a completely digital customer journey. The monthly payments are affordable and beat other options like, of course, the high price rental, but also options like a lease and a loan. We have created an entirely new financial contract. It's not a loan or a lease, because we don't sell consumers a car and we don't lend people money. Consumers, our customers, can pay with their credit card. You can't pay your car loan or lease with a credit card. our subscription contract doesn't hit your credit report. So it doesn't restrict your borrowing capacity for other purposes. Under a subscription, you no longer can become delinquent. When your life circumstances change, you return the car. Just to remind us, in America, currently 8 million people are more than 90 days thus past due on their auto loan or lease. With a car subscription with autonomy, that's all history. So no longer we force people into multi-year financial commitments like a 3-year lease or a 4, 5, 6, even 7-year loan, but provide the flexibility that we have learned is so important for the young generation, but not only, particularly at the end, hopefully at the end of this crazy pandemic. We need more flexibility than the traditional auto finance system has been offering its customers for decades.
That's really fascinating, George, because you've picked up on a number of things which I think present some really interesting opportunities and questions. So you're talking about a subscription model which prioritizes perhaps access over ownership, and in changing the nature of that financial commitment. As you said, you mentioned the statistics of people who are late with, behind on their servicing their auto loans. Would you say that part of your mission, in addition to expanding access to affordable vehicles, is also reducing consumption through, everyone perhaps getting rid of their car every couple years? Or I noticed one of the interesting propositions you have is people changing the cars to meet their changing lifestyle requirements.
Right. I definitely think so, that we are moving into this sort of era of flexibility, of a subscription economy is sort of right here, right? It's you don't need to own a gym to work out, sort of in a very sort of exaggerating way, but the reality is we subscribe to movies, to music, in e-commerce, etc. So why not subscribe for your next car? And all of this on your phone, and that is the digital process that's so important for the autonomy team and me, as we have also said, there has to be a better way providing consumers access to a car than the traditional process, spending 3-4 hours at the dealership, bombarded with paperwork in an intransparent, bureaucratic, time-consuming, sometimes even intimidating process. And the way we started out was just saying, an idealized version should be all on your phone, seamless, paperless, end-to-end, an all-in-one monthly payment, including roadside assistance, service and maintenance, insurance, and in the future also a charging feature. So empowering the consumer, putting all the mobility needs and adjacencies at their fingertip on their phone. And at Autonomy, we have accomplished it. It was a great mission that we set ourselves, but the way it's working, it is as easy as downloading the Autonomy app, shopping for a car, scan your driver's license, link your credit card, select car, sign with your finger on your phone, and schedule an in-app delivery time. We believe that's the modern way, the right way to providing consumers access to mobility.
So tell me a little bit about the affordability piece. How does replacing perhaps a recurring credit card payment for a loan payment, how does that make it more affordable for the end user, thus achieving your goal of expanded access? And what you also mentioned the embedding of other financial products bundled in with that subscription, perhaps insurance or some other type of product. Tell me a little bit about your vision around those things.
Yeah, first of all, 90% of all consumers don't pay cash for their car. So it starts out with the question, what we need a mobility financing type solution. And as I pointed out, the multi-year financial commitment is antiquated, it's outdated, even so it's still, mostly used in the market. But once consumers realize that subscriptions are at affordable monthly payments, plus the flexibility, then we will see, I think we'll reach a tipping point in a not too distant future where certainly a large share of what used to be leasing will become subscriptions. If you have ever tried to get out of an existing lease contract of 3 years at month 6, 9, 12, 18, whatever, because of life circumstances change, it's a nightmare. It is really a nightmare. So the beauty of the flexibility at affordable monthly payments, and that is critical, you touched upon it. Affordable means it has to be at the level and competitive with the traditional instruments like a loan or a lease. And how is it, particularly for electric vehicles, competitive? Because the base of the business model is a recurring revenue model, using the same vehicle for various customers over a lifetime of, say, 6, 7, or 8 years. And that means you can sort of amortize certain costs of the asset over a longer period of time, as opposed to a 3-year lease, where there is an end term, and then the life of the lease is over. You have to sort of cram it all into the 3 years, versus a recurring revenue model, subscription-based, that enables you to come up with better economics. So compelling and convincing benefits for the consumer all around. Affordable, flexible, and a fully digital, convenient, easy, fast, transparent customer journey. I call it a magical customer journey.
Brilliant. And let's finally talk a little bit more about electronic vehicles. So you spent some time at Tesla. Clearly, you believe electronic vehicles are the future. How do you think that the model that you guys have will drive greater adoption or usage of electronic vehicles, as opposed to what we have now, gas guzzlers?
Yeah, but there's no doubt the future of mobility will be electric. We have definitely reached an inflection point, and for the adoption of EVs, states in the US government, federal governments, EU has put their stakes in the ground, and almost across the board, from governments to manufacturers, by 2035 we will no longer be selling ICE cars. There will be a transition, of course, that will take longer than 2035, but it's certainly an endpoint pretty much of selling ICE cars. So what is the role of subscription? I think that's the point you were hitting on. How can they sort of accelerate the adoption of EVs? And I believe they will accelerate, because subscriptions are the perfect match, the ideal mobility solution for electric vehicles. A rapidly rising number of EV curious customers, consumers, still feel uncertain about EVs in topics like range, charging infrastructure, battery life, etc. So, and for most, there will be millions and millions of consumers that are going to be moving into electric vehicles in the years to come. It will be the first EV for them to begin with. So a subscription gives you the peace of mind that you can walk away if you feel an electric vehicle is not for you. Well, I believe most will find EVs are not only cars that are great to drive, but given the current incredibly high level of gas prices, they also help to contribute to sort of significant savings, and no longer spending the hundreds and hundreds of dollars or pounds or euros at the gas pump.
Thanks for that. That's really interesting point around it gives people an opportunity to try an electric vehicle before perhaps they're ready to commit 100% and really experience for themselves.
Yeah,
Great.
for sure.
Well, I think you have a fascinating model there, George. I know that you'll be joining us on December 1st in San Francisco for FTT Embedded Finance and Super Apps North America. For everyone listening, if you want to hear more from George and about the subscription economy, the future of EVs, make sure you join us in San Francisco. But for now, thank you very much, George, for taking the time to share your thoughts and your vision for autonomy.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the event in San Francisco.
Brilliant. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us for this edition of our FTT Chat series. Thank you.